Hello and welcome to Precon Decon, the video series where I deconstruct the pre-constructed decks of Magic the Gathering's past. In this video we're going to be looking at the last theme deck from Planeshift, which is Scout, which is a white-red-green deck. I actually had this one back in the day, just because I think I liked that combination of colours. I think, I would say even today, that's probably my favourite shard combination. But yes, this deck is actually quite disappointing, as we will see. So we have a deck list here. So we have 26 creatures, which is very large, but a lot of kind of one-ofs, which is kind of a warning sign, I think, to me. 9 instants, 3 enchantments, and 22 land, and we've got a mana curve off to the side there, as usual. So let's start looking at all these creatures. So, what? We've got an Aurora Griffin, who's just a 2/2 flyer, makes a permanent white until end turn. Fine, bit random, but okay. Rampant Elephant, which is 4 mana for a 2/2, 1 green, makes a creature block him until end of block him this turn. Fine, weird kind of lure effect. 2 Sunscape Battle Mages. So Battle Mages, well, one of these kind of cycles in Planeshift, and this deck's got a few of them. I think it's actually got one of each color, I think, or one white, 1 green, 1 red one. So the Sunscape Battle Mage, it's 3 mana for a 2/2. It has 2 kicker abilities. The green one destroys a creature with flying, and the blue one lets you draw 2 cards. This is probably like the most straightforward, I think, of all the Battle Mages. Like that green ability is pretty, I think, situational. But the blue one is just is very good. It's straight up just draw 2 cards. That would be 6 mana though for a 2/2 that draws you 2 cards. So I'm not sure if it's it's straightforward, but I'm not sure if it's great. And a single Agent Kavu, which is 4 mana for a 3/3. You can pay 2 to make it become colorless until end turn, which is like a really weird ability to have. I mean, not, I guess, in the context of the block, just because like color matters was like a big kind of theme. As you can see on Aurora Griffin, it makes permanents become white until end turn, even though I don't think there's literally any way in this deck of benefiting from that, maybe. But I don't know, it would have been cool to kind of see more of this ability of like things being able to become colorless until end of turn. Actually, I kind of wish it was part of Red's kind of color pie anyway, because it just makes me think of like Ghostfire and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know, just kind of a random cool card to have with a weird kind of fun ability. I don't know. And then we have Slingshot Goblin, who's 3 mana for a 2/2. 1 red tap does 2 damage to a blue creature. Sure. Again, very like conditional, I guess. I think it would have been fine if he'd just done, if it was like 1 damage to a creature. If it's blue, it does an extra point of damage, just so it's not a completely dead ability some of the time. I don't know. Thunderscape Battle Mage, 2 of them. So what's his kickers? Let him destroy enchantments and make a player discard cards. Again, this thing with all the battle mages, like if you pay them without paying their kicker costs, then they're kind of they're overcosted because they're 3 mana just for a 2/2 with no abilities. But if you pay their kicker costs, then they're really expensive just for just for kind of minor effects, honestly. So if you just play like pay the 1 green to get him to destroy an enchantment, you're still playing like 4 mana just to destroy an enchantment and get a 2/2, which is kind of, it's mana in different colors as well. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of wish these battle mages were kind of redone. I mean, if there was another kind of crack at doing these battle mages. Viashino Grappler is just kind of horrible. 3 mana for a 3/1, and you have to pay to give it trample. Okay. Amphibious Kavu. I used to think this was kind of okay, just because it was the 3 mana for a 2/2, and if it blocks a blue or black creature, it gets +3/+3 to enter, which is like quite a huge buff. But again, it's just very conditional, even with a lot of kind of color matters abilities and color changing abilities in the block. So then we have a little bit of color fixing as we're in green and we're running more than 1 color. So we have Nomadic Elf, which is kind of very inefficient mana filtering. Quirion Elves. I used to quite like Quirion Elves actually. 2 mana for a 1/1. When it comes in play, choose a colour, and you tap to green or 1 mana of the chosen colour, which I think is fine. 2 Quirion Explorers, which taps to give you mana of any colour that a land an opponent controls could produce, which is okay. You're running 3 colours, so fairly decent chance you'll be able to use it. And even if you can't, it's fine. If it produces blue or black mana, again, it's fine. That's what I was going to talk about the battle mages. We go back. So we're meant to be in a sort of a Naya coloured deck, and Sunscape Battle Mage has a blue ability, and Sunscape Battle Mage has a black ability. You've got no reliable, really way of doing blue or black mana other than doing Quirion Elves or Quirion Explorer or Nomadic Elf. It's just I've talked about it before with the Scape apprentices in previous theme decks. I just think it's really annoying when they put in cards that you can't reliably use their abilities of. Anyway, 3 Stone Caboose, which is like a weird choice. It's 5 mana for 3/3, and it basically has, it has a fire breathing ability, and then just a toughness boosting ability. Fine. It's expensive, and I've gone on rants on this before, but I don't understand why it's like the fire breathing adds to its cost, like because you have to pay mana to use that ability. Like surely that should be cost. Anyway, I've talked about fire breathing abilities a lot. Thornscape Apprentice in a deck where you can actually use both of his abilities, which is fine. I've said it before, but I think that white ability is probably his best ability, and then but giving first strike is still pretty good. Thornscape Battle Mage is one of the battle mages where you can reliably use both of these abilities. Thornscape, I think, is the better of all the battle mages, just because its kicker costs are both very cheap, and they're actually they're pretty good. I think just that red ability where it does 2 damage to a creature or player. I think that's really good. I would be quite happy just playing 4 mana to get a 2/2 that does 2 damage to something when it comes in. I think that's fine. And to have the kicker, the white kicker ability, which destroys an artifact. Again, I think that's that being at 1 mana, I think is really good. Thornscape Battle Mage I think is the best battle mage, but it's still expensive if you don't use those abilities. We have 1 Thornscape Familiar, which is a shame. It would have been nice to have more than 1 of these, but it makes red and white spells 1 less to play. Mirrorwood Treefolk. Oh, I like Mirrorwood Treefolk. So 4 mana for a 2/4, 2 colors, 1 red and 1 white. The next time it would take damage, it reflects that damage onto something else instead, which is really fun. Back in the day, I built a really janky deck with Mirrorwood Treefolk and Shivan Meteor from Time Spiral, and just like throw the meteor at Mirrorwood Treefolk and then bounce it onto an opponent, and it was so janky, but I loved it. I loved that deck. Fond memories of Mirrorwood Treefolk. And then one of the rares in the deck is Radiant Kavoo, which is 1 red, green, white for 3/3. And pay 1 red, 1 green, 1 white. Prevent all combat damage of blue creatures and black creature would deal this turn. I kind of wish it had something else, like haste or first strike or something like that. Because again, it's just a very conditional ability. If you're playing against someone who's not using blue or black creatures, his text box might as well be blank. I don't know, just a weird choice as a rare. I reckon that it's only just in here just because it is red, green, and white. Anyway, so we have 3 gating creatures. Gating creatures being this thing in Planeshift where the idea is they're efficiently costed for their stats, but you have to bounce a creature that shares a colour with them back to your hand. So Horn Kavoo 3/4 bounces a red or green creature. Fleetfoot Panther 3/4 with flash, which is pretty good, and then you bounce a green or white creature. These are okay because they let you kind of reset battle mages, I suppose, so then you can cast them later in the game, maybe. Steelleaf Paladin is the odd one out because it is very expensive. It's 6 mana for a 4/4 first strike, and then you still have to bounce something. This is definitely the odd one out of all the gators, just because it's so expensive. I'm almost convinced there was a printing error on this card, and it should have been like 2 colors, green and white, because that would have been more appropriate. But 6 mana for a 4/4 first strike, even without the gating ability, is very expensive. And then we have some bad burn. So Magma Burst, 4 mana for 3 damage to target creature or player, and if you kick it, which is sacrificing 2 lands, you get to do 3 damage to another target creature or player. So yeah, that's just bad. I don't think I need to say any more on that. Singe is just bad again. One red for does 1 damage to a creature, and it becomes black until end of turn. So you could do a really janky combo, I suppose, with Radiant Kavoo. Like, I'm going to make that creature black, and then I can prevent its combat damage. And yeah, that's not the best use of your mana. This easily could have had draw a card on it, I think, but anyway. And Zap is just 1 damage, and you draw a card for 3. That's, again, just bad. And Pollen Remedy is just bad. 1 white mana to prevent the next 3 damage that would be dealt this turn to any number of target creature players, dividers you choose, and if you kick it by sacrificing a land, you can prevent 6 damage instead. Yeah, again, that's just pretty bad as a card. Like, you're in the color where you can just have fog, but I don't know. I just think it's pretty bad. The other end of the deck is actually pretty good. It's Eladamri's Call, where you just search your library for a creature card and put it into your hand for 2 mana, which is actually very, very good. Yeah, I really like Eladamri's Call. Yeah, so that's a good rare to have. Makes up for the Radiant Kavoo. 2 Gerard's Command, untapped target creature, it gets +3/+3 on turn. That's pretty good. Yeah, pretty decent combat trick. Rith's Charm. Saw Rith's Charm in the Domain deck last time. It's okay. Destroy a non-basic land, which there would have been a few of, or get 3 saplings, or prevent all damage a source your choice would deal this turn. Okay, and then a single Armadillo Cloak. This one the best auras at the time. And charge creature +2/+2 and trample, and whenever it deals damage, you gain that much life, which is pretty good. Sort of turns really any creature into a threat. And then a bunch of kind of color fixing. I've just kind of whacked it all in here. So a Harrow and 2 Fertile Ground, which is, we've seen these a bunch of times, but they help fix your mana in these multicolor decks. And then an Elfhame Palace, a Shivan Oasis, which are just dual lands. Geothermal Crevice and Irrigation Ditch are these lands that kind of tap for a single color, but you can sacrifice them for 2 different colors. And then Rith's Grove, which is kind of one of the original tri-lands. So when it comes to play, you have to return a non-lair card back to your hand, but then it comes in untapped, which is actually okay, and it gives you red, green, or white, so that's okay. So what could have been? Just think it could have had a better selection of creatures, really, because it really does feel like just a random, just grab bag of cards. There doesn't really seem to be a lot of synergy with anything. So in that mind, I just went through and just picked decent cards and creatures. Flame Tongue Kavoo would have been nice in here, just because it's a really good red creature. Charging Troll, again, just really good creature, would have been fine in here. Hull Breach is a good utility card because it can destroy an artifact or an enchantment or both. Might Weaver, you're in the colors where this would have been okay, and giving trample to stuff is always okay. And Voice of All, really like Voice of All, 4 mana for a 2/2 flyer. When it comes into play, you choose kind of has protection from that color. I think would have been just a good inclusion to have. So in overall, yeah, I do think this one's a bit of a mess. I really don't know what the intended strategy is meant to be. I guess you've got the battle mages, but is that how you're going to win with battle mages? They're not great. So yeah, I do think this one is a bit of a mess. It does feel like kind of just a random kind of selection of cards that were just picked up and be like, oh, let's get some red and white and green cards and we'll mash them together and it'll work. So, which is annoying because I do like that combination of colors. So this was disappointing to own, and I think the couple of times I played it, I did get beaten quite handily because it didn't really work as expected, I suppose. But that was my experience. What did you have this deck? Did you play with it? Did you make any changes to it? Did you have the same sort of experience I did, where it just was a little underwhelming? Stick a comment below. But I'll be back next time to look at. So we're done with Planeshift now. So we're going to start looking at the Apocalypse themed decks, which I'm looking forward to because I really like Apocalypse. But yeah, good. Well, thank you for watching and listening, and have a great day.